My mom keeps exaggerating my illnesses, so I told a nurse and doctors caught the truth. I'm 15, 5 feet tall, and 82 pounds. I live in the US. I take Keppra and Adderall. I have epilepsy, undifferentiated connective tissue disease, and ADHD. My mom says I have POTS and EDS too. This started with one seizure. I had it in 5th grade on a field trip. The whole cafeteria saw it. At the hospital, they didn't find a clear cause. Before that, my mom already took me to the doctor for every cold. After the seizure, she went into overdrive. She kept saying I looked pale, off, unfocused. She started talking for me in appointments. If I said I felt okay, she'd jump in and say I forget things from seizures. She'd tell doctors I had fevers at home and say the Tylenol hit it. It was true I took Tylenol, but she gave it to me even when I felt fine. Before cardiology, she handed me cold medicine because I was sniffly. Sometimes I wasn't. Later, I read that stuff can raise your heart rate. I felt set up. She'd point to my knees and say the joints looked swollen. She'd tell me I looked lightheaded. She'd snap pictures at bad angles so my hands looked puffy. When I pushed back, she'd say I was minimizing. I started to doubt myself. One time, I played hard on a big inflatable water slide at a party. I also took a bunch of ibuprofen because she said it would help joint pain. I woke up with big bruises down my legs and arms. She told the doctor they showed up for no reason. I got a full leukemia workup. I kept quiet even though I knew why I had bruises. Appointments took over my week. New specialists kept getting added. My friends were out skating or playing games, and I was in waiting rooms. The meds made me irritable and sick to my stomach. I was missing school for tests that came back normal or unclear. I was scared to speak up. I'm small and I don't eat enough, and I know that. My labs once showed a high ANA. That helped push the connective tissue label. I didn't know what parts were real. I did know I'd only had one seizure anyone could prove. It felt like my life sat under a pile of scary words I didn't choose. I asked myself what would happen if I told the truth. Would I get in trouble? Would doctors stop believing me if I ever did get sick? I had a cardiology visit on a Thursday coming up. I decided that would be the line. I would say something then. At the check-in desk, I told my mom I needed the bathroom. I went to a nurse and handed her a note. It said my mom exaggerates my symptoms and sometimes gives me medicine before visits. It said I want to talk alone. I was shaking so hard the paper rattled. The nurse looked me in the eye and said she heard me. The wait to go back took forever. When we finally went in, the doctor asked slow, detailed questions. He asked me to answer first. When my mom stepped in, he asked her to slow down. He pointed out places where her timeline didn't match. Then he asked to talk to me alone. When it was just us, I told him I felt mostly fine day to day. I told him about Tylenol and cold meds before appointments. I told him about the pictures and the bruises after the inflatable slide and ibuprofen. I said I was worried I had ruined my care. He didn't look mad. He stepped out and spoke to my mom alone. When he came back, he said a team would review my case. He said they wanted to check some diagnoses in a careful way. He said they planned to admit me for observation so everything could be measured without guessing. I didn't know if that was normal. It sounded huge, but I said okay. In the hospital, a nurse was always in my room. I took only what they gave me at the times they chose. They watched my heart rate when I sat, stood, and walked. They drew blood once and did scans. They asked me questions without anyone answering for me. At night, the monitor beeped steady, and I watched the numbers change. Over a few days, they repeated tests. Some things stayed the same. Some things didn't fit what I'd been told. The team met with me and explained their plan in plain words. They said we'd keep epilepsy on the list, and ADHD too. They said other labels might be wrong or unproven. They said it'd be safer if I managed my own daily meds. My mom started seeing a counselor. She said she wasn't doing anything, and that I was getting ideas from crime podcasts she caught me listening to. I didn't argue. I kept my focus on the plan. At discharge, they told me to use a small journal. I write down the name of every pill and the time I take it. I fill the pill box myself. I still take Keppra and Adderall. I stopped hydroxychloroquine. I set reminders on my phone. When I go to visits, I bring the journal. I answer questions first. If I don't know, I say I don't know. When I left the hospital, no one yelled. No one said I was in trouble. The doctor spoke calm and clear. He said I did the right thing by speaking up. At home, I put my journal on my desk and lined up my meds. Now my family is saying I embarrassed her by telling the clinic. Was I wrong?